Hello, welcome to Lore Master's Lair. I'm your Lore Master, here today to talk on a subgroup of monsters. It's something I have not done in a while, but have had this one close to the top of things I wanted to look at. So, giants. Not trolls or ogres, giants. Let's get started. Giants are a subgroup of humanoids. Despite the name, these creatures range in sizes, with large being the smallest. Sure, there are some that are gigantic, of course, but not all. They tend not to live in large groups, but have their own scattered populations across the globe. One of the things most giants have in common, at least from one sources on hunting them, is that they carry a treasure bag with them, which some adventurers see as enough reason in and of itself to kill them. We are looking at the most common types of giants today. While there are legends about where the giants came from, there is nothing to say where here giants fit into this. Filled with the urge to be both violent, paired with being on the lower end of intelligence, here giants are mostly seen as wandering threats, despite the easy defense of them being easily tricked. Incest is incredibly common among the here giants, probably contributing to their general deformed appearance. Here giants tend to be organized in a tribal structure under chief, but the chief is usually just as much a bumbling moron as any other, the here giants operating on strength. Whenever a here giant with a more normal intelligence score is born, they usually also cannot stand their family members and go off on their own. So what happens when you take a here giant and make it even worse? That is a marsh giant. They were originally born from here giants who gave into the temptation of the demon lord Dagon, intermixing with his other subjects and becoming the deformed, fish-skinned creatures they are now. They still continue with the worship of Dagon, and unlike their cousins, they do atrocities in the demon lord's name instead of just natural cruelty. In turn, Dagon grants them even more terrifying deformities like scales and tentacles. Those children blessed as such are known as by the giants as Brineborn. Surprisingly, these giants are actually some of the more social ones, rarely working with non-giants like Bargots, sea hags, and black dragons. So now that we have dealt with the offshoots we have little origin of, let's look at a type of giant all the rest on this list are said to come from: the taiga giants. These are nomads who stalk the thick, frozen forests, following ancestral paths. Speaking of which, unlike other giants, they instead worship ancestral spirits, and they maintain tales of their ancestors. They are also known to wear totems for their child self, adult self, their family self, their tribe self, and their life self. Finally, their connection with spirits protects them from enchantments and illusions. There's no known form of leadership for them, just nomads wandering alone, for the most part. It is stone giants who tell a tale of how outside influences crafted the giants into what they are. It was humans who enslaved the giants, and they were forced to craft and build massive structures for them. Eventually they were freed, but traveling home they found themselves changed from the taiga giants they once were. They were now stone giants, torn between the spiritualists they were before and the builders humans made them. Even among giants, stone giants are reclusive, purposely trying to avoid humans, but still ready to fight those who approach their territory. Their leaders are the elders, a male and female giant who are not necessarily the eldest, but ready to accept the recommendations from their elder peers and do what is best for their tribe. By stone giant stories, frost giants were once their brothers before being led away by Thamir, the first Jarl. Frost giants instead tell of the frost giants being shards of the deity's body. Regardless, the frost giants are among most known for conquest, being creatures forever looking for conquest and battle. They live in the harshest lands and barely scrape by, leading to the need for raiding on other creatures, and sometimes cannibalism, they matching hill and swamp giants in the amount of humanoids they eat. Despite their more savage nature, they do show respect for their dead, when the dead die in battle, of course. Though the conquest part does lead to a lot of slaves, so there's that to worry about. The frost giant leaders are the Jarls, though shamans are also highly respected. In turn, the fire giants were tempted away by their god, Subspecies, who gave them knowledge of the forge, or in their own legends, they were originally crafted by him. This leads to their culture of forging weapons and using them. But not only that, iron is in their blood to the point that fire giants are born wearing armor. It should also be noted that fire giants are the most communal giants with themselves. As I said before, marsh giants get along with others really well. But fire giants, they form decent-sized communities in order to be more effective for smithing. There is also a community-wide legend known as the Prophecy of Twilight, where one day the finest blade made by fire giant hands would be used to bring the end to the gods. Might want to keep them away from God's reign. Now we move on to cloud giants, one of the most revered giants, and I believe this is where we finally cross over into the gigantic. The stone giants claim that they and the storm giants are the closest ones to the gods. The cloud giants instead claim to be descended from the titans themselves. Cloud giants are a first on this list of unique morality. Sure, taiga and stone giants are more neutrally aligned, but cloud giants usually gather in groups which are all good or all evil. One of the oldest legends of the cloud giants are the cloud cities they once lived in, but were forced to flee long ago. Now they wish to find these cities and reclaim their glory. The leader of cloud giants are usually economically influential oligarchs. We then find ourselves with the strongest of the natural giants, the storm giants. Again seen as chosen of the gods, storm giants see themselves as natural rulers of the land and will often ask humans to tend to their gardens for generations as they travel around the globe. They, in turn, see no one as worthy of ruling them. They constantly travel from place to place, going moody if staying in one place for too long, with families of storm giants sometimes traveling together. That said, while storm giants are rarely villains, some might be playing a higher game parties can be dragged into, and some storm giants believe themselves forces and protectors of nature, living more fairer lives. Finally, we have the strongest of giants, the rune giants. Specifically bred by Tassalon to enslave other giants, these creatures still exist to this day. They know nothing but domination, continuing to bring others under their power, whether for its own glory or for the continuation of Tassalon. They are always looking for items of value which have practical purpose, and admire, or more practically enslave, artisans who are at the top of their field. They believe in honor and pedigree, and in the few times two rune giants actually are in the same place, they work to prove themselves superior. Those are the main giants, but there are still a few more uncommon ones, which I'll list quickly. Of course, there's also the lesser giants like Oni or trolls, but they're not the topic for today, so just the ones actually named giant. So, first off, look at the few remaining fully evil giants we have. Cave giants are as bad as hill giants, yet stronger and with larger tusks. As for shadow giants, they live in the netherworld, are known for their control of shadows and their cultish rituals. Now, going to more neutrally aligned, slag giants are made as a crossbreed of stone and fire giants and are even better at smithing. Desert giants wander vast territories and can quickly chase down any intruders who they find on their paths. Ash giants travel wastelands with vermin companions and a cruel sense of humor. Jungle giants are cautious and good at foes, and wood giants use magic to turn the very forest against intruders. River giants are interested in profits and are more than happy to help at a price. Noted for being either good or evil like cloud giants, then we have cliff giants who are kind of native stereotypes, focus on monitoring the land they live in more than anything. Finally, ocean giants are the watery offshoots of storm giants, again divided between good and evil. Now, as we come to an end, let's take a moment to talk on the deities of the giants. Sure, some like tiger and rune giants are not known for the worship of the gods, and marsh giants worship Dagon. But among the giants are a rich pantheon of deities. First, some of the individual ones. As mentioned above, the origin and worship of fire and frost giants are focused on the two evil deities, Zeus Valtir, the Prince of Steel, and Thermia, the first Jarl. Cloud giants also worship a single deity, Gazra in the form known as Oizum, which is focused on the wind and sky aspect of the pair. Getting into larger pantheons, surprisingly hill giants, those few who actually have faith instead of just shamanism, usually follow Norgabur, Rovagug, or the stone giant deities of Vandara or Urazra. Speaking of stone giants, there are those who follow ancestral paths and revere the spirits of their ancestors. Though there's also those who have embraced the new ways and instead worship the stone giant form of Eristil known as Estig the Hunter, as well as Vandara the Blood Mother and Minderhall. That said, the most evil and young of stone giants have instead turned towards Urazra and his angry and savage worship. For storm giants, they have the widest pantheon. Let's break this down into 4 parts. First, the ones we recognize. They worship Gazra as Hyjotha the Skyfather and Terethia the Sea Mother, as well as Shaelin as the music daughter to them. Next, Bergilmir is the goddess of history, wisdom, family, and elders, and is related in some way to the trickster Skimir, whether it's that they're siblings, parent and child, or even potentially lovers. The two great hunters, Skuld of the land and Agaran of the sea, are wed but forever apart. Finally, Tajase is known as a tamer of rocks and mighty birds, but he arrogantly looks down on all others. Which brings us to the end of today's video. Again, this is a video I have been looking for a time slot to fit for a while, and I'm glad I found a chance now. But next week we are looking back to the old legends from across Golarion. See you then.